Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Power Ghost, episode 4, season 3, called The Land of Opportunity. Before I get started with the review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it and we thank you in advance. So here we go. In the opening scenes of this episode, we see that the drug business in Weston Company is running smoothly. We see Tyreek overlooking the operations. The coffees are coming in and going to whoever at Weston, whoever works at Weston, and order the coffee with the drugs in the bottom half of the coffee. We do see Effie tell one of the workers that I guess they're shorting the cocaine that's in there to the customers, and that's bad business. But other than that, things are running smoothly. Next, we see that Lorenzo and his boys have blindfolded Monet. They're outside to show her something, and they remove the blindfold to reveal like a memorial poster, a big blue memorial poster of Zeke, and this makes Monet happy. Anything about Zeke makes her happy. Then we see Diana coming up a little bit late, but she has flowers, and her mom's what are you doing here? She's just so mean to this girl. Like she had really had something to do with Zeke's murder. They're gonna head inside. I guess they're at the bar is where it is, and so they're gonna head inside because they're gonna have a family meeting. And then Monet stops Diana. She says, "Where are you going? This is a family meeting." Like Diana is not a part of the family. Kind of cold.
Yeah, Monet's very cold when it comes to her interactions with her children.
She is. So Diana leaves. She's sent away. So Kane and Drew and Lorenzo and Monet go into the bar to discuss some family business. But before that, Whitman comes, and he is now Monet's getting mad. Like, what are you doing here? Lorenzo's standing there, and he sees this man up on Monet, his wife. Like, what are you doing here? She's all, "You're suspended. You have no business around here." And then the men threaten to hurt him before they go into the family meeting.
Yeah, Whitman has definitely been doing a little bit too much. It's not looking too good for him. We'll see what happens.
So there's some business talk inside the bar, and Kane is talking, giving orders to Lorenzo, and he's telling him what to do, and they go off. They leave together, and Drew's looking up at them like, "What? This is so weird." He tells his mother, Kane barks orders and Lorenzo jumps. They're noticing something's off. So the next scene we have Sax talking to Jenny, the DA. And Sax shows her a picture of Monet, Tyreek, and Davis in his office all together at the same time. This picture is helpful or interesting for Jenny, the DA. Oh, they discuss possibly blaming Davis for the murder he committed when he was 21, that his brother is taking the fall for.
But that case was so long ago, it's irrelevant. It's not going to stick.
Well, actually, there is no statute of limitations on murder. Like sometimes you commit a crime, it's like 7 years. Statute of limitation. That means like you have 7 years to bring it to trial. And so with murder, it could be 100 years. There's no statute. So they could technically do it.
But Are they going to?
Well, it came up in a brief conversation, so it might be brought up again in another episode.
We shall see.
Well, at the table, Jenny gets a call, and Sax wants to know who's calling her. She gets up and she walks away to take her call, but another call is coming through on another phone in her purse. So on the sly, Sax gets the phone out of the purse and he takes a picture of it, of the number coming through. So he lets Jenny know, oh, your phone was ringing while you were gone, your other phone. He knows she's sneaking around and doing something, and he is just nosy. First of all, she's the DA. Whatever she's doing is probably DA business. You don't have to be privy to it. You know what I mean? Now, why was Tyreek driving that blue car?
I don't know what Tariq's doing riding around in a GT3 Turbo, but I don't think it's his. It must be Braden's uncle's. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, maybe. Maybe that's it. Because he's known to not have a car.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, he's at their distribution area, I guess we can call it. And then King gets a moment to talk to Effie. And he knows something's up. So he says it. He goes, thanks for killing Lauren. Because in the previous episode, he had a feeling that he knows Braden is too chicken to kill anybody. So he's like wondering who did it. So he's narrowing it down. And so he doesn't know for sure, but he poses this, gives her a thank you to see what her response will be. And at first she denied it. And then she copped to it. But she wants him to keep it on the low.
If Tariq finds out, the whole organization's gonna be messed up.
Yeah. So he can hold that over Effie's head. You do what I say probably in the future, or I'm going to tell your little boyfriend that you killed his girlfriend or something like that. So now what we know is Kane now knows that Tariq doesn't know, so he's going to use it. So in the distribution center that we're calling where the drugs are, Noma's people are there. And they, the guys have moved the drugs pretty okay. And I think they're happy with the more because they give him guns to move. And that's not their lane. Guns are not their lane.
They don't care. They have no other choice, clearly.
Mm-hmm. And they told them, you better move these guns like you move the drugs or you know what will happen. They'll start killing their loved ones. So the next scene, we're in the classroom where the topic is the land of opportunity. America is the land of opportunity. They had this interesting exercise about who has a head start in the world, about what their life's goals were. They lined up a couple of the classmates up and they asked them certain questions. Did your parents graduate college? Were you a public assistant? And you had to step forward and step back. And at the end, you would see where the different individuals were in life. And of course, the white kids were up front with all the privileges. And then Tariq wasn't far back. One of the questions was, one of your parents go to prison? And he had to step back on that. But still, he has an estate. He comes from money. So light-skinned Keisha was way in the back with Effie. Or were they both way in the back? I think Effie was furthest back than everybody.
I think Effie's back was against the wall, and the Keisha girl was a little bit ahead of her.
I think you're right.
It's an exercise you see pretty commonly on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Jubilee and Cut and stuff like that.
Oh, I loved it. It was an interesting exercise. It's a nice visual for people to see, yeah? Okay, so we have Lorenzo in the next scene, and he's in Diana's dorm room. And he's giving her more drugs to sell. And Diana's like, I don't want to do that. She doesn't know if these drugs don't get sold and the money...
She's the first one gone.
She has no idea. So Lorenzo's basically forcing her to sell drugs on her college campus. Because that's what the family needs for her to do. Davis and Monet get together, the lawyer. And they discuss Whitman and all his harassment. And Davis wants her to keep information, a file on him, and keep reporting what he's doing. Um, and she said, I think she told Davis that she's going to have Diana give Whitman a false alibi.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
It had to be Diane because she has the cleanest record out of everyone, and
In
she'll
the
be the
Tejada
most
family.
believable.
Yeah. So next we have Uncle Lucas, which is Braden's uncle at the Weston Company. And he's in a conference meeting in person with RSJ, this rich, rich black guy. And in the meeting also is Tyreek. Now, Tyreek is brought along because he's the resident scapegoat black guy to be used. And in the meeting, Uncle Lucas says something about RSJ being black and like the black.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. And he who says institutional racism? Was that RSJ?
I think it was.
It was RSJ to Lucas, right?
Or it was Tariq to Lucas.
Huh, maybe. But
Either way.
Now the meeting didn't go well. So RSJ leaves, and he's in the room. Tyreek is in the room with Uncle Lucas. Uncle Lucas is upset because the meeting didn't go well, and Tyreek tells him about, I guess, the institutional racism, how it appears, and the guy doesn't even realize that he's being racist. Or the thing is, you're having a business meeting. Why did you bring color into it? You know what I mean?
The reason why color was brought into it because on the previous episode when Tariq was talking to the RSJ guy, he said he was saying the only reason they're here is so that they can have a black face to appeal to me.
Yes.
And then Tariq had that side conversation with him.
Right.
Make sure you're doing something since they're doing something so
right.
That's even.
But,
so then Tariq brought that energy into the meeting, and then...
That's true.
And then the meeting was over. Well, the meeting wasn't over, but after they were talking about the racism part of it in the conversation. I believe that's when Lucas got up. That's when he started to get mad, and then RSJ got up. And then he said to Tariq something about his father's estate or something.
Right,
and he was confused. But then he started thinking about it, and then Lucas looks over at Tariq and says, there's something I don't know. What's going on here? And then Tariq says, oh, yeah, by the way, we had a conversation when you and Braden left. This was in the previous episode.
Okay.
And he said, well, you should have told me about this because this would have been very...
You're right. But why did the uncle bring up anything black to RSJ in that meeting? That was his downfall.
That was. You're right.
That was his downfall.
That was inappropriate.
So when RSJ leaves, Uncle Lucas tells Tariq, this intern, you better do something to save this partnership, or to make sure we get the partnership with RSJ, or you lose your internship. How do you put that much pressure on a kid? He's 19. He's an intern.
Not getting paid.
He's not getting paid. But he has to...
Making $1 billion.
A deal.
Billions of dollars, whatever,
transaction. Or business deal. Oh my God. You take your little Harvard degree or your Stansfield degree that you got, and you do the work. You don't put it on somebody else to do the work, especially when you're the reason why it's not going through, because you're screw up for mentioning anything black. I mean, come on, what pressure? Okay, so we have Diana. The next scene, we have her in her dorm room when her mother, Monet, comes to visit. And she needs Diana's help with this Whitman. She wants her to give a fake alibi, and Diana's like, why do you blame me for Zeke's death? You hurt me. Why do you do these things to me? That hurts her, right? And Monet, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, it's like a real fake, insincere,
Super fake.
Sorry, apology.
Not what you need to hear.
That's what you need to hear? Be a mother. That's what she needs to hear. Okay, so it looks like Diana's going to do it. So the next scene we have the play cousins, which are Drew and the Castillo boy. What's his name? Guado something?
No, that's not it.
It's not
I
him?
forget. It's the guy with the wrist tattoo that we saw last episode when he walked in and he was on that Grinder app talking to Drew. That guy.
Oh, that was it? Oh, okay. Huh. But then afterwards was the play cousins, right?
They were already play cousins.
No, the guy that on the Grinder app was somebody else,
No,
right?
it's the same guy.
He saw
He has the wrist tattoo. You saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so that's the Castillo boy? It's his play cousins, is his business associate now. He calls Lorenzo Uncle Lorenzo, so they're that close. And I guess Drew talks to him and he gets an understanding that he will move the guns.
Correct.
And they're going to move those guns to racist people upstate New York, it sounds like.
The rednecks.
Yes. And so they need a white face to be the middleman. We all know who that's going to be.
Pop quiz.
Who is the white face on the payroll? So next thing we have Tyreek talking to Tate. He wants to get some dirt on RSG to help get have a leverage to make this deal work. Tate says, there ain't nothing on that dude. He's cleaner than Obama. He's clean, right? And he goes, what I need for you to do is to donate, or he'll call Blanca. Tate wants Tyreek to donate to his campaign, or he's going to call Blanca Rodriguez, because Blanca has been inquiring about Tariq and his involvement with possible murder of Dante Spears. And so all of a sudden, I think Tate has more leverage. He wants Tyreek to donate weekly. It was $2,000. Then it became donate.
Double.
He wants him to donate weekly, $5,000 in Bitcoins. I guess that's not traceable to see where it comes from, because he's a kingpin and he knows. How does he know he's running like that though?
He's not dumb.
Well, how does he have $5,000 to give you every week?
He's a kingpin.
He's $20,000 a month. The boy don't even have a car.
Well, he got power.
So, in the next thing we have Jenny giving Sachs the Rollins file. And then her second phone is ringing again, and she's not answering. And he wants to know who it is, and if she doesn't tell him, he threatened to follow her. So he goes, you know what, just come on, I'm going to take you to my CI. And around the corner is Blanca Rodriguez. And Blanca sees him, they see each other, and she's pissed, because apparently he was the reason why she got suspended at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they're going to be working together.
They were already working together.
Well, yeah, but... yeah, they were working together, they didn't know, because Jenny was in the middle. So Jenny goes to the safe house where Lauren is. And she gives her a file. Lauren wants to leave. She's been cooped up here. I don't know why they're giving her spam. She should have all the finest food. There is no limitation on what you can eat just because you're in a safe house.
Very wrong.
So, she knows that Effie did this, and she gives her a file, and there's pictures in it. And one of the pictures is Effie leaning up against the wall, and
Tariq right next to her.
Tyreek leaning into her. And this is taken inside the college hallways. And so Lauren can see how close Effie and Tyreek are. I guess she feels like, I'm dead. This is what they do. Well, I don't know if she knows. As far as she knows, Tyreek has nothing to do with it, which is true. He knows nothing about what Effie did. But it hurts to see your boyfriend with your supposed killer, talking to one another. And I just wondered, who took that picture? It's the mole. There's a mole in that school that took the picture of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They weren't on the street. So Lauren is trying to help Ginny piece things together. She's telling her what she knows. I think she sees a picture of Monet. She's, oh, that's Tyreek's aunt. I met her once. And she sees Diana's picture. And she says Diana was on the college rooftop. And Ginny's confused. Are you sure it was Diana? So now Diana is kind of a person of interest to Ginny, the DA. Okay, so we have the next scene. And it's at the penthouse. It's Kane and Lorenzo. And I guess Lorenzo's trying to get... talk some sense into Kane. But Kane is standing up to his father. He thinks he's running things. Things are going to be done his way. With the drug deal and everything else. Because he killed Zeke, and that's what he's going to... Lorenzo's going to have to do is follow his direction because he'll open his mouth. Now, Diana in the next scene, she's in bed with the TA. And he has so many questions. This is what makes me think he's the mole. Why are you asking all these questions?
There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions. I just think he's the guy. He could have had easily captured that picture of Effie and Tyreek. He knows the players of the game, apparently. He's told, he's given this information, so that makes sense. He would be the one to capture that picture.
That does make sense.
Right? Okay, so we have Diana and Whitman. They're meeting up outside of some river somewhere. And Diana comes up, and first thing she wants to know is, who killed Zeke? And he says that your mom killed Carrie and Zeke, right?
Yes.
He also wants to know, what are you doing here, really? And then she opens up. She says, my mom sent me here to lie to you. But, she's, how she's been treating her. She goes, but I really want to know who killed my brother, basically. And she goes, I'm here to really help you. I know where the books are. They're in the house. And she says, can you get a warrant? And can't because he's suspended. He has no business over there. She goes, okay, I will leave the door. I'll leave a key for you to come into our house when we're not home for you to take a look at the books. So they have their plan. Next, we see Braden. He meets up with Lorenzo. This is the first time they actually meet. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that Braden had never met Lorenzo.
Because Lorenzo isn't usually on the street with Kane at the same time, I don't think.
He's on the street with Kane.
Not really, doing business, though.
With some other people. He's not on the street with... Did he ever meet he met Tyreek?
Yeah, I believe so.
He knows Tyreek, but he never met Braden.
Or Effie.
He's never met Effie either?
I don't think so.
Wait a minute. Because he's not in the meetings with Noma's people. So,
I think Drew's the only Tejada in that meeting, right? Not Drew, Kane.
Drew and Castillo Boy, they're out there.
They're not in the meetings, though. When they're getting a resupply...
Not Noma Mita.
When they get a resupply, it's Tariq, Kane, Braden, and Effie.
So they got the guns. This wasn't that meeting. It's when Braden pulled up. So it's Braden, Kane, Lorenzo, and there was also Drew.
And a
Castillo Boy. So, but everyone has to follow, Lorenzo has to follow Kane's direction. So Kane cut out Castillo and Drew. They just left them standing there while the three of them drove off.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. In the next scene, somehow Blanca knows that there was going to be a gun deal going down, I guess from her CI. She tells this to Jenny. So they're all, where did they go? I don't know if they know exactly where it is, but they know it's going down. Somewhere up north, upstate.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jenny tell Blanca about the college rooftop? Because they're going to put surveillance cameras on the roof, she mentioned. She's talking to the DA about that. Or the DA is talking to the DEA.
Mm-hmm.
The next scene, we have Lucas, RSJ, and Tyreek. They're back to the conference room. They're going to have a meeting. And they have a proposition. This is what Tariq has come up with. There's a building in his estate, in his trust, that he can sell because it's not being used for what it was intended for, so it could be up for sale. And this is some type of property because RSJ is into real estate. This is some type of property that RSJ would want, he has an interest in. So if he makes the deal with Lucas, he will sell the property at a higher market value, so he'll be more money in his trust later. And this proposition seals the deal. They're happy with that. And again, Tariq thought outside the box, what was in his best interest, and it's working for him. That was the advice that he was given by RSJ to him. That's cool. So Braden is going to be the face of the gun sales to the people upstate. They're racist, so Braden is white, and it won't really set off the white races, but they have questions. They knew about Guado, whatever that dude's name is, the Castillo boy. And
I thought Gordo was Lorenzo. No.
I don't think so. I think it's the racist the Castillo boy. And they want to know more about Braden. They start asking him questions.
Interrogating him.
Yeah, he's like,
what are you doing?
Mind your business. So what they do is they snap a picture of him, Braden. The racists snap a picture of Braden. And they also snap a picture of the car that he was driving as he was driving away. And they follow him. Now, where Braden goes is to a hotel. I'm sorry, it's not even a hotel. It's a motel. Inside the motel is Lorenzo and Kane. Braden gives them the money. The goons are outside following, but Braden, he leaves immediately. And then Lorenzo and Kane leave. They're leaving out the door when there's gunfire. Actually, they weren't even leaving out the door. Somebody busted into their motel room, and they shot them up. And then they were leaving outside the door. And there was more gunfire. 2 more men were outside. Lorenzo gets in front of a bullet for Kane, saves his life.
And pushes him out the way.
And then, who swoops in? Drew and Castillo. They came and shot them all up. Kane didn't know nothing about it. Because they know Kane is not that smart. And they're going to need backup. So Lorenzo put that in play. But Castillo boy, he gets shot. Grazed. And Drew takes a good look at it in the car where the boys kiss.
A really good look.
The Castillo boy didn't want to do that. Why didn't he want to? Because of business? Or because they're play cousins. You don't do that with family. It's just kind of, not right when you're family. When Kane and Lorenzo, they drive back to the city or wherever their home, he wanted to know why he brought Drew into it. And he told him basically, this is what was best, Drew, for the backup. And they talk about him, Drew, I'm not Drew, what's his name? Cain talks to Lorenzo about him saving him. He goes, I could have been killed. He goes, I will always protect you. You're my firstborn son. So now the secret of Lorenzo killing Zeke is safe with Cain. He sees that his dad loves him regardless. He wouldn't put him out there and put him in harm's way. He would take a bullet for him, apparently. So we have Whitman. Whitman is sneaking into the Tejada house at night. And when he's sneaking in, we see Diana meets him at the stairs. She's at the stairs. He's like, what are you doing here? And they show Diana. Diana's in the house. And then she picks up she has her phone in her hand, and she calls 911 like there's a break-in. He's surprised. And then he meets up with Monet, is in the house too, with a gun, where she just blows him, lights him up.
No shame.
No shame. That's her house, and she kills a policeman, Whitman, in her house.
Middle of the house, right in front of the stairs.
Yeah. And as she's about to shoot him, she's all, tell Carrie what's up, because...
He thinks that she killed her.
Yeah, something. I think she did.
She hung herself.
No, she hung her up there.
I don't think so.
I think she did. So she makes Diana lie that it was self-defense because he broke into their house. It's on record that he's been harassing the family. Now you're in their house. How do you explain you being in their house? You're harassing them. It's at night. They think it's an intruder, so they light you up. It should be a open and shut case. They killed him due to self-defense. But who pops in? Davis. Because now the cops are all in there, and they're taking pictures and, doing their investigation. And he pulls Monet aside. He's like, are you crazy?
He should have said yes.
He said, they're going to take you down to the station. They're going to separate you and Diana. You don't say nothing. I will meet you down there, and I will have Saxe, rep Diana.
Should be the other way around.
Saxe should rep Monet? Why?
Because Diana doesn't know Saxe.
No, she doesn't. Oh, you're right. So you think, Diana would just say nothing to Davis, and Monet knows what to do with Saxe, how to play it off? You know what?
I mean, that's just...
It's an idea.
If I was Davis, that's what I would have.
So we see Tyreek talking to Effie in the dorm room, and she's real impressed with his connection, or the connection he made, or the deal he closed with RSJ. You imagine your boyfriend, 19 years old, is closing deals with Elon Musk or whoever.
The black Elon Musk?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
And an internship? How is he going to get paid for that?
He won't.
That's too much money. That type of deal should have made you be able to get a house. You know what I mean? It should be big money. Okay, so Blanca is at the crime scene at the motel where she is talking to some cop, and he says, where's her CI? Her CI was shot in the back. That's one of the white guys that was getting the gun. Because remember that guy got shot in the back? Dead in the back. Mm-hmm. So the cop said, the CI was shot in the back. So it sounds like he's alive, though. She could talk to him.
I don't know. After that shooting, when Cain ran over there, I thought that's what he was going to go do, was finish that dude off. But he went and looked in their trunk to see where the guns were. But I guess they used the guns that they just bought.
Oh, really?
That's what I looked at.
Okay. So, now we're back at the pit house, Mecca's pit house, where the boys got to stay, but Monet's there. And apparently Monet's there because her house is currently a crime scene.
Why don't you just go to the bar?
Well, I guess she needed a place to go.
She has a bar.
And when she was with Davis at her house, he had some file for her. Now, she's actually taken some time to look at the file while she's in the penthouse. In the file is information about Zeke's murder. And they have fingerprints and she's looking at the file whose fingerprints they are, and they're Lorenzo's fingerprints. So she's trying to understand how did Lorenzo's fingerprints get in Mecca's hangar? Suspicious. And so actually Lorenzo's also in that house because that's where they're staying. He gives her a hug. And I know she's like just questioning, like, what? I think it's in her mind now that Zeke's killer is possibly Lorenzo. But that was the end of the episode. I like this episode.
Best one this season so far.
I would have to agree. Not bad at all. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for staying with us to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it, and we thank you in advance. But we gotta go, cause what?
We got some living to do.
Bye.